everybody. Would like to call the Meriwether County Board of Commissioners meeting. At this time, we'll have our invocation. Would you please stand? Heavenly Father, we come asking as humbly as we know, as we do the county business, that you watch over us as the decisions that we make, and that the decisions that we make is for the betterment of Meriwether County and its citizens, and that we make decisions not just for today, but the future of Meriwether County as well. This I ask in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. I understand there needs to be an adjustment to our agenda before we adopt it. On new business, which will be item number 7, we need to include an intergovernment agreement with the City of Woodbury to conduct their November election for 2019. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, there's a motion and a second. All those in favor? Motion carries. At this time, can I get a motion that we adopt the agenda with the new changes made to it?
So moved.
Okay, and is there a second?
Second.
Okay, a motion. All those in favor? Motion carries. Thank you. Let's see. The next item is to adopt the minutes for the work session for May the 28th. That was held at 4:30. Can I get a motion that we accept the minutes as presented?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, there's been a motion and a second. Can I get a vote? All those in favor? Anyone opposed? Thank you. The second item minutes is May the 28th, our regular meeting that was held at 6 p.m. Can I get a motion that we adopt the minutes as they are presented?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, there's been a motion and a second. All those in favor? Motion carries. Thank you so much. All right, moving on forward is our municipal comments. We want to recognize our different cities. I see the the city manager for the city of Manchester here. You have anything, Doug?
Only that our July 3rd event is coming. All's invited to come to that. We'll have a good display of fireworks and 2 bands playing. A lot of fun. Have a good time on July 3rd.
What time is that?
Well, people start coming in around noon, but activities with band and all scheduled for 4, fireworks at 10.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Mayor Glover, I saw you come in.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. From Greenville. From Luthersville, I don't see the mayor, but I see Mr. Cuddy from the city council. You have anything?
Just to say I'm delighted to be here. We didn't have anything to add.
Well, we're delighted to have you. Thank you, Mayor. Any other? Woodbury? Warm Springs? I don't want to overlook anyone. All right. Moving right along is our Constitution officers. No one? Okay. You want to have anything from the Sheriff Department? You're good? Okay, thank you. Okay, moving on, our department heads. Don't everybody get up at the same time, but I know you all have something to share with us. Bryn. All right, so Bryn has nothing. Skip has nothing. All right, animal shelter, what we have.
Just want to let everybody know we've taken in 623 animals this year so far since January 1st. We've adopted 190 since January 1st, so things are looking pretty good. We're very full right now, but we're doing a transport tonight. We've transported a total of 78 for the year. Also, everybody, we're having our first movie night of the year, June the 22nd. We're going to be showing A Dog's Way Home, the new movie that just came out. Looking for a good time. Everybody come on out and see us and check out the animals.
Thank you. I do want to make a comment on your website. It's very well done. It has really good pictures and photos. So hopefully,
we can thank Brent for that.
Okay. Well, we're going to make sure that Brent gets credit for it. But I think you all do a really good job on that. Thank you for the hard work that you put into that. Let's see. Kat. Kathy.
I wasn't hiding well enough. Thank you, Madam Chairman. Excuse me. I have a report for everyone. This gives you your May totals. If you don't mind, would you mind passing them along?
Hey, I'll see what I can do.
This is for the building permits for the month of May. We issued a total of $2,330,126 evaluation. We have growth in the Gay, Lucasville, Greenville, Pine Mountain, and Woodbury areas. Most of them that you see here are your residential areas. Some of them are like a shop along with a home, and at the very last one there is a large storage area with a cooler area out in Woodbury. So I thought that was something large enough to include in the report, so you would have that. And if you notice in the first column there, you do have the Commissioner's District for each one of those permits that are issued. So I hope this is something that you can use and just kind of get an idea of where your growth is in the county. We want to keep on coming south, so I want to see some numbers 4s and 5s in here real quick. But it does cover what we have done for the month of May. We already started off in June. You've got a new report on the back. It kind of gives you a year-by-date visual, which I have to tell y'all, Miss Jackie's wonderful on the computer, so she has offered this to bring to y'all each month, and so it gives you a comparison from one month to the next, also a year-to-date total. So that is for your information. Any questions you've got, give us a call. We'll be glad to help you with anything on that. And if you want to go see some of these new places, you do have the address to take a look.
Thank you.
Very much.
So, Ms. Kathy, I do want to ask you, in reference to, I understand your department is doing some new upgrades as far as being able to do things online.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you share that with the board, please?
Hopefully within the month, we will have all of our permit applications, our business license application information, also all the steps that are required in acquiring these permits and licenses will be on the county website underneath the building and zoning area. Have been in conversation with Mr. Bill. We're working on a system where hopefully we can start taking online payments using debit and credit cards to make it a convenience for the people of Meriwether County, the developers and all that are coming in. Because a lot of times they may be calling from Atlanta, Montgomery, or what have you. They can get access to that application, complete that, submit it to us. We're telling them it's going to be a 2 to 5 day turnaround for the application process to get to the permit. If it is a residential type situation, if it's a commercial, because of the more extensive research you have to do and plan reviews, we're saying that would take up to 2 weeks. But it gives them time to take a look, see what's needed, make sure they have all their proper documentation, be able to download and fill it online, submit it along with the attachments, give us time to make our studies and recommendations on anything, notify them, and they can submit that payment or bring the payment in when they actually pick up their permit. So we're moving into the 21st century. I hope it will be a positive thing, but it is under construction. And again, thanks to Brand, for he's the one who's told me he can help me with all that.
Thank you. Ren, you're pretty busy, aren't you?
He's hiding.
Well, we appreciate the work that you all are doing in that department. Thank you for that report. Anyone else? Chief, Fire Department.
We have no report today.
One second. I just want to make a comment. I know you don't have a report, but we did have our official opening, ribbon cutting. So you don't want to elaborate on that? I wish you would.
Forgive me, we did, and I was very impressed with the ceremonies. There was a lot of work went into that by a lot of people. And I think actually a lot of work going back years. You know, a lot of the people here, the board, to make all that happen. It's very exciting. And I think I said in one of the groundbreakings about this being a turning point in history, marking a drastic change, I think, in our momentum and movement and going in a better direction. The service that we're going to provide to the people. So it's very exciting to have that official grand opening. And from, I can sit here and tell you all day, but the response from the public so far has been really great. I think the response from the industrial park in that area, especially in Ludlow, has been very positive. So we have been doing some very good things, and we've got plenty of examples about how our performance is being enhanced, our response times, our delivery of our services. So we're very excited about that. And, you know, it's not about maybe statistics. statistics and crunching numbers, but the feedback, I feel like you're making a difference after you put a lot of effort into this, to me is very gratifying. So looking forward to I think we have 2 more coming very soon with Odessa Dale and Durand. We have launched Odessa Dale. We're still waiting on that CO for Durand. But I think that's coming, right away, so.
That is on June
June 26th.
10
o'clock at Odessa Dale and 11:30 at Durand.
So.
I'm sorry, you said 10 o'clock is Odessa Dale?
And 11:30 will be Durand.
And once again, for those who live in the area, we do encourage you, if you can, come out and be a part of that ribbon cutting ceremony.
A lot of positive momentum here, is being had. And one of the things that I still want to re-mention about Odessa Dale is especially exciting. We still have a little work to do with the state to get that station accepted, certified, we can operate out of it. Once we get that thing legally certified, that's when the insurance question comes to those people, because Odessa Dale being a territory that wasn't, I hesitate to use the word wasn't served, but it wasn't served with that 5-mile coverage in a lot of that area. And that's going to make a drastic difference for the citizens who live in that area. It's going to be a game changer. Probably, typically, the ISO 10 down to where we now should be. Huge percentage. So almost half in some cases. So, big difference.
Thank you. Let's see. Let's see if Keith just won. Patty, do you have something you want to share? Nothing right now? Okay. I don't think I've missed anyone. Miss Jane is not here today, and we don't have Carolyn, but we do have Miss Kathy Jenkins. Is it Jenkins or Jennings? Jennings. Okay. Would you like to share something regarding, is it the after-school program? West Georgia. Okay.
My name's Catherine Jenkins. I work right up the road at the technical college. And we are going to start registration this summer. This is open to all residents of the county that are looking to get their GED. We also do a little bit of jobs training, but our main focus is on the GED. And so the 24th of June, coming up 2 Mondays from now, registration's free. They just have to bring an ID. And if they're under 18, they've got to bring a withdrawal from whatever school that they ran. And so with that, we hope we can get our summer enrollment numbers up. But yeah, that's all I have.
Thank you. Brent, can that information be provided on the county website? All right. Thank you. We'll see if we can get that taken care of for you as well.
Ms. Jenkins, can you send us some information so we can get it on our county website, please?
I thank all our department heads, and hopefully I have not overlooked anyone. If not, we're moving on to the next section of the agenda. It has public hearing, but there is no need for a public hearing. So our next item on there would be our unfinished business. Since there is no need for a public hearing, because some of the items that are on the unfinished business has already been discussed on the public hearing, so at this time there will not be comments from the public regarding these items. It'll just be discussion among the board and a decision. Is that correct, Mr. Gay?
Yes, ma'am. Y'all can ask our staff questions and all that.
Okay. All right.
Would you like a brief summary, a very brief summary of what the recommendation was on these, or?
Well, we can take each one of them. So, case number, unfinished business, case number 7. You want to go ahead and...
Well, just a brief summary of what was discussed.
Yes.
And just the recommendations and all that, and the conditions. Commissioners, this was actually a request from TowerCom, who is an agent for Charles M. Jones for a special use permit for the installation of a cell phone tower. And the property is located at 13949 Highway 85, Woodbury. Current zoning is 24.5 acres and it's zoned A1, which does allow cell towers with the approval of a special use permit. Kathy, I know you've got it went before the planning commission.
Okay. The staff recommendation, based on information that I received, all the departments that I asked for, there was no negative feedback on anything. So based on staff review and analysis of the information presented, any supplemental information that was requested, a site visit and review of the surrounding areas, the applicant will comply with Meriwether County zoning, Article 9 of the Communication Tower Regulations. The staff recommends the grant of a special use permit to the applicant upon their compliance with the following conditions. Do you wish that I read all those conditions again?
No, those are not those. And it's in our minutes as well. We have it.
And as he said, this is TowerCom agent for the property owner, Charles Mike Jones, and it is just for a special use permit for the installation of cell phone communication tower.
Okay, thank you. At this time, can I get a motion regarding case number 7?
Madam Chair, this is my district. I move we go ahead and grant the special use permit
With the conditions.
with the conditions as specified.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, there's been a motion and a second. Is there any discussion?
Yes, ma'am, I'd like to say just a few words. I know there's been some controversy and there's been some words used as far as the health hazards of cell towers and what have you. And listening to my legal advice down here, that's nothing that we can actually consider as health hazards from these particular entities. So it seems like it almost becomes a moot point as far as cell towers. And something we're going to be looking at here in Meriwether County, if we look at broadband, we look at any kind of communication system, we're going to have more cell towers. Obviously, that's something that's going to have to be. My experience this last weekend, my home phone was down, stayed down for about 6 days. My cell phone refused to go out on the Wi-Fi. And folks, there are some real areas in Meriwether County that have no cell phone usage. I'm here to tell you. With that being said, I'll rest my case.
And I'd like to say,
Is there any more discussion?
Yeah,
Commissioner Threadgill?
I did read the article, and I agree, but as we were told by our legal, we cannot deny for medical possibilities or any concern like that. So I apologize to you, I agree with the article, but because of the legalities.
Any more discussion regarding case number 7? I'm sorry, we can't have any public comments at this time. I apologize. At this time, if there's no more discussion, I'd like to ask for a motion that we cast a vote. Okay.
Motion's on it.
Oh, the motion already, I'm sorry, I did, that's right, okay. Can I get a motion for a vote? All those, I'm sorry.
I second.
We just need to vote, I'm sorry. All right, I apologize for that. So, all those in favor of approving this case, show of hands. Anyone opposed? Okay, motion carries. Thank you. Case number 7, I'm sorry, case number 8.
Yes, ma'am. Case number 8, we have Mark Baranowski, who's the agent for Dustin Evans and Group Land. They're requesting a rezoning of a 5-acre parcel to be pulled out of 2 existing parcels belonging to both Mr. Owens and his land, and a special use permit to construct a 300-foot guide wire communication tower. The current zoning in this area is RR, which is 10-acre minimum, and the requested rezoning for the 5 acres is to LDR with that special use permit on cell phone tower. Again, based on any kind of staff recommendations or comments from any of the departments, we believe that with the analysis of the information that was presented, supplemental information that was requested, site visit, and review of all the surrounding area, the applicant will comply with Meriwether County zoning ordinance, Article 9, Communication Tower Regulations. Staff recommends the approval of the rezoning of the 5 acres to LDR and the grant of a special use permit to the applicant upon the applicant's compliance with the following conditions, which you do have in your minutes as well. And they have been in agreement to meet all these conditions that are set forth.
Okay, thank you. Can I get a motion for case number 8 regarding the rezoning?
Madam Chair, that falls in my district also. I'll make a motion, we approve the rezone, the special use permit with conditions specified.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, there's been a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Yes, ma'am. One thing I would like to say, and I understand some of the concerns there flying in the States. General aviation is probably in shambles in this country. But I don't know that this is going to infringe enough on that airport to really make a difference. That is why listening to the distance from the other towers and what's going on there. And I understand you'll have to use a little more precautions when you're leaving and, of course, landing. But other than that, I can't see that's going to make that major difference.
Any more discussion? If not, I'd like to ask for a vote. All those in favor of the recommendation? Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. The next item on unfinished business is the appointment to the Pathway Community Service Board.
I would like to make a motion to table that again, Madam Chair.
Is there a second? Second. Okay, there's been a motion and a second. All those in favor?
That's not an easy one to do.
Is there anyone opposed? If not, motion carries. Thank you. The next item on unfinished business is the rescheduling of the public hearing for road abandonment petition on Overby Road, AK Jesse Porch Road. This is to reschedule this for July the 23rd.
I'll make a motion.
All right, so there's a motion. Is there a second? Second. Okay, there's been a motion and a second. Any discussion? If not, can I ask for a vote? All those in favor? Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. The next item is rescheduling public hearing for road abandonment petition remaining open on the portion of Oak Road. And this is with CV Nally, and this is to also have this hearing on the 23rd, July the 23rd. Can I get a motion? Is there a second? Second. Okay, there's been a motion and a second. Any discussion? If not, can I ask for a vote? All those in favor? Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Rescheduling public hearing for road abandonment petition in Weaver Park Road. Also moving this to July the 23rd for 2019. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
I'm sorry?
So moved.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
All right, there's been a motion and a second. Any discussion? If not, I'd like to ask for a vote. All those in favor? Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Madam Chairman, on item number 7, we have rescheduled, but it was already scheduled for that date. So I think what we'd ask the board is just to confirm that date for the public hearing for the abandonment of Jimmy Clark Road between Mockingbird Lane and Jerky Road.
Right. So based on what our county administrator said, at this time, we just need to confirm?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Confirm, but I think that was already set for that date.
All right. So we don't need a motion or anything on that? Just to,
Might just do a motion.
can I get a motion to confirm the rescheduling?
So moved, Madam Chair.
And is there a second?
Second.
Okay, there's been a motion and a second. Any discussion? If not, I'd like to ask for a vote. All those in favor? Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. The next item is we're going into new business. And under new business, we have property and liability insurance renewal. Is that going to be you, Bill, or Mr. Gay?
Combo.
A combo.
Got before insurance renewal proposal from ACCG, Irma, as well as some information from a broker that we have working for us. At this time, I'd like to bring up Ashley Abercrombie and Matt Autry from ACCG, just to give you a brief overview of the proposal, and we'd be asking for you to vote on that at your next meeting in a month.
Good morning, Madam Chairman.
Good morning.
Good morning, Commissioners. Good morning, staff. Pleasure to be with you this morning. We just want to kind of give you an overview of the ACCG insurance programs. The property and liability program was started in 1987, so this will be our 33rd year of providing coverage. And this was actually at the request of the Georgia counties at the time, because the commercial markets were either pulling out, there weren't many that would want to write, law enforcement and roads and bridges and some of the other hazardous activities of county government, or the prices were going way up. And so it was not just here in Georgia, but throughout the nation, that public entity pools like this one were created to help give you some stability in coverage and in pricing. You guys have been a member of this program since 2006. We have 151 counties, we have 160 16 counties in the program and 55 authorities. So we have 171 members right now in the program. Every year we look at our pricing because we want to make sure that we're pricing to break even. This is a nonprofit program. We do not pay commissions. There are no taxes on this program. We're just trying to cover our costs. And so every year we work with an actuary who looks at our historical losses and our historical exposures for all of the members to try to project what next year's premiums are going to be. And unfortunately, the law enforcement liability claims as well as the vehicle claims, both from a liability perspective as well as a physical damage like your comprehensive and collision coverage, those costs have been going up, not just for you guys, but for the whole pool. And so what we've had to do this year is increase rates overall about 7.7%. And then most of the members on average have about 3.5% exposure growth. So that means that we have about 11% increase on average. Now the good news is we continue to give back dividends because this is a nonprofit program. Any money that we have left over from older years, we return back to you, which is not something the commercial market would do, obviously. And so we've given back about $35 million back to the members since the creation of the program. So this year, on average, the members are getting about a 10% credit because of their dividend. I actually met with one last week that is getting a 20% credit because of their dividend, because they've been in a long time. In your particular case, yours is about 4%, but if you continue to remain in the program, you'll see that increase. So this is a package program, and we look, just like we look at the pricing every year, we also look at the coverage. And a couple of years ago, we added cyber liability because that is an increasing exposure, not just with county government, but for all businesses. And then a couple of years ago, we added crisis management coverage as well, because there are times you might need some assistance if you have a situation that causes significant media attention. We're there to help you with that. We also have an HR helpline to help you in the event of an employment matter and you need some assistance on how to navigate that, and loss control services as well. Did I miss anything?
That's it.
Okay. Let me see, I did make a note. And we do also provide property appraisals as well on a 5-year rotation. So I believe that's kind of a good summary of the program and a good explanation of the increases overall. Your increase is a little bit greater because of your loss experience. You've also had some higher law enforcement claims and vehicle claims that have jumped your premium up a little bit as well. At this point, I'll be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Madam Chair, just glancing through here, I see that there is flood coverage being offered. That's kind of on my mind, obviously. You have a $500,000 deductible. What is this coverage? What does it take care of? Roads, washouts?
It would be your buildings and your contents, not necessarily roads.
Buildings and contents and not roads. Okay,
Right.
that's what I wanted to hear. Thank you.
Right, and that deductible is only $500,000 if you have property in a flood zone, a special hazard flood zone like a A or B in our
Right.
state. So with all of the other properties, it's your standard deductible, which is $1,000. And one other thing that we're doing this year in some of the counties with some of these increases is we're offering you higher deductible options. There are counties that have had the same deductible for decades, and it might be a time to consider taking more risk because that also tends to encourage people to control their losses better if they're paying more in their claims.
Is that deductible based on the entire package, or is it just specific for certain things? You know, because as you just mentioned, a lot of ours is due to in the sheriff department for right now, and we kind of understand why. It's not unique. It's not unique to just Meriwether County. It's just
Correct.
part of it. But is it just a total package, or can you just look at each different department? Or
A couple of things to point out in that. It's a package program, so it covers your property, your general liability, law enforcement liability, auto liability, and physical damage, cyber coverage I mentioned, prime coverages, including your statutory bonds. So for most of the coverages, your deductible right now is $1,000 per occurrence. So in the event you have a situation where you have I'll just take roads and bridges, you have a roads and bridges vehicle that hits someone and does damage to their vehicle and someone in the other vehicle, you just have the $1,000 deductible, regardless of the number of coverage lines, like liability and physical damage. So that's the benefit of having a package program. The $10,000 that you have is only for law enforcement liability and public officials liability. Which, even though it's called public officials liability, most of the claims we pay on that coverage line have to do with employment practice liability claims. But because those are hopefully not frequency claims like you see with the automobile, those are typically more expensive claims, which is why that deductible is a little bit higher. So it's just those two coverage lines that have higher.
What would be the next deductible?
What we have offered to you as a second deductible is $2,500 for most of the coverage lines, but $15,000 for law enforcement and public officials liability. We do have members that take up to $100,000 per occurrence, so there are various options all the way up.
Is that reflected in this price?
It's a second, I believe on that proposal page, there's option 2, I think it's what we call it. Probably the very last page.
Of the whole thing?
I believe it would save you a little over, well, probably $12,500. Something like that. About a 5% decrease in your premium.
Huh? It's only saving $12,000. I don't think
No,
it's going
it's
up.
15,000.
15.
You don't think it's, I don't think it's some claims. We can go run some numbers on it.
Okay. Because I mean, I know a lot of our vehicle stuff has been dear.
That's right.
And there's been not anything we can do about it around here.
And this is $1,500 more per occurrence, so.
And we're not going to ask you guys to vote on this today, so
Yeah,
we're going to
it's
give
a lot
you
of, well,
some options on that. And the registration.
does anyone else have any other questions from the board? Thank you so much for your presentation. Thanks for coming down so early. Thank you. Bill?
In addition, you've got some other information from Chris Walker, who's with Steve Lanier, locally brought in, look at outside carriers, and due to our claims history and loss reserves that we have, he wasn't able to find anybody that would quote us. The only one he could find that would quote us was about twice as much as ACCG. I don't want to tell them that, but the statement he did, you can read it before. We can validate that ACCG is currently offering you a very competitive premium based on your 5-year claims history, while your loss ratio is well over 100%. He makes another point that I think Beverly and I are going to really look at. In the past, we spent a lot of time working on getting our workers' comp premiums down and getting our health care premiums down. We're going to focus this next year on property and liability. In the past, we just hadn't, due to the enormity of that program, we just hadn't had the staff to do that. We feel like now we do have that staff. And he says, please continue your efforts of hiring the right people and ensuring they buy into safety and risk control to decrease your preventable claims, which is what we're going to really focus and try to do.
We also noticed that we have our largest claim coming off.
Right.
So next year, that will,
It does affect it that a lot.
so that
We've
will
had
drop it a
some
little bit.
success on the workers' comp end with safety programs, and we'd like to bring the department heads and the sheriff's office in to talk about that. And Mary's been talking with Joe Dan with ACCG, and they've got some ideas and programs that they'd like to get us involved in to do that.
LCRMS is setting up some programs for us now.
So that means they'll come in and do like a workshop and a presentation
Yes, ma'am.
for those individual departments to
Yes,
kind of get an overview of?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Already
We'll
working on
look
that.
at the values affixed of all of our property and make sure that's in line with what it needs to be. So we're going to attack that this year.
And we're gonna be
aggressively.
adding these fire stations
Oh,
too.
yeah, we both-
So we got to,
4 fire stations and 2 fire trucks, so that
yeah.
pushes it up.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's all I have. Again, we'll vote on this at the end of the month.
all right, thank you. A lot to look at. Okay. The next item under new business is the intergovernment agreement with the City of Manchester to conduct their November election for 2019. Is that going to be Patty, or you want to share that with us?
With the county having the possibility of C-SPOS, it makes sense for us to conduct the municipal elections. Therefore, you don't have 2 different elections going on in the same location. This will also help offset your cost. Not that you're in a money-making business, but it won't cost the cities as much simply for that fact. You actually have an election going on. We're basically trying to just cover our costs. So Manchester will conduct their own qualifying, and then they'll just get everything to us to put on their ballot. Greenville is a little more because we actually conduct their qualifying. So that's why there's a difference in the 2 prices.
Okay. Even though we're not yet at item number 7, but that is Woodbury, would that be the same as Greenville?
It's going to be the same as Manchester.
Oh,
because
Manchester.
we don't conduct their qualifying either. They
Okay.
conduct their own.
Okay. So at this time, Mr. Gay, do you have anything you want to add to that?
No, ma'am, other than, just to say that we're going to be getting our intergovernmental agreements to those T-splossed within the next couple weeks.
Okay.
Having them approved, we're definitely going to have it.
Okay.
And Patty, if there's any other city who wants to participate, is there a timeline when they need to reach out to you?
Just so that you have time to do the intergovernmental agreement and us to get everything on their ballot. Our ballot deadline is in August.
In August, okay. Thank you.
And I know Woodbury has a special that they're going to attach to their November. Are you going to get me their wording, or do I need to talk to them?
Talk to Angel, I was not aware of that.
Okay.
I'll help however you need me.
Okay.
I just.
Okay. I just got an email yesterday, so.
You're getting a lot of emails, aren't you, lady? Okay. At this time, I'd like to ask for a motion for our intergovernment agreement with the City of Manchester. All right. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, there's been a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion? If not, I'd like to ask for a vote. All those in favor? Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. The next item is the intergovernment agreement with the City of Greenville to conduct their November election. I guess Patty has kind of went over all of that for us, so at this time, I'd like to ask for a motion.
So moved.
Is there a second? Okay, there's been a motion and a second. Any more discussion? If not, I'd like to ask for a vote. All those in favor? Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. The next item is appointment to the Two Rivers to fill the unexpired term. Sir?
Did you do Woodbury?
Woodbury is number 7.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Appointment to the Two Rivers to fill their unexpired term for alternate state agents, for the Two Rivers to fill their unexpired term for alternate. Mr. Gay?
Darrell Johnson is our current member, and we did have a gentleman who was our alternate, but he has passed away, and I think Commissioner Coy, were you interested in?
When you and I talked, I said if I needed to fill this, I will.
I think it would be one of those things that you could fill, and if you don't feel like you don't have time, you can come back and refill. But we just need somebody that represents us. They are able sometimes to fund some dollars to us for drainage and various other things. And I know that Commissioner Coy and I talked.
Tyrell is our person. This would be the alternate.
That's just the alternate.
That is correct. I'll make that motion to appoint Hudson.
Is there a second?
Second.
So there's a motion and a second. Any other discussion? If not, I'd like to ask for a vote. All those in favor? Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, the next item is the state agency budget request for 2019 to 2020. And is that you, Bill, or is that, okay.
That's me as well. These state agencies run on a fiscal year These are their requests. The two highlighted in red are requested more than the previous year. The one down in green, they're asking for less than the previous year. I like that. I'm going to ask you guys to approve an amount for these agencies at the last meeting of the month. Darren and I will be meeting with this public defender. We've got some information behind their quote for this year and last year, explaining why they want that extra money. But we'll meet with Ms. Simmons to talk about that with her, try to get that negotiated down. Usually they, the DA asks for more money, they do too. If the DA doesn't, they don't either. So we're going to look at that. As far as defects go, there's some misunderstanding between myself and the defects people that they were under the impression that in 2019 we had approved $20,000 for them, which in fact we didn't. We approved $15,000. I don't know if I miscommunicated with them or not. So,
And Madam Chair, I sit on that board, I have looked at their financials, and for last year, it does state that the use from the county was $20,000 that they had budgeted in last year's.
I've got your copy of last year's request, and I had to ever check the minutes. The $15,000 level is approved. What Commissioner Treasurer said, that if they're expecting 20 grand, y'all may want to consider up to that 15 to cover that.
Well, it looks like what they did, they put the $20,000 in their budget as if they had received it, so that's what they were spending it on, so we just have to get that correct.
So does that mean we have to go back in and make an adjustment?
You don't have to, that's up to you.
See, they may have requested 20.
But what did we
budgeted,
approve?
And then we
But we
approved
approved
15. And then, of course, it really needs to be adjusted to what we approved. But if you guys did want to bump it up, you might want to, consider that, considering that's what they were thinking they were going to get.
I guess my main concern is, based on their budget and knowing the work that they're doing in this county, it's just unbelievable. And to be honest, they need more money. But unfortunately, the county can't do a lot of it. Hopefully, I know they're looking for other ways to bring the money in. So do we need to just go ahead, do we need to vote on this, or do we just?
Do that right now.
Okay.
Darren and I and Commissioner Griffin will talk to Jennifer, and we'll come back and make a recommendation.
Okay.
I have a question.
Okay, there's a question.
All right, the 25,000, is that request because they're trying to make up for the 5,000 also, or you think they're asking for 25,000 going forward?
Going forward.
Because that's a $10,000 jump.
Yes, ma'am.
So they were anticipating 2019 to be 20,000. And then for 2020, they're talking 25.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And their fiscal year ended this, so they're in line with the state.
Correct. So we'll be able to discuss it before the next meeting and put it on there.
We'll have some more information on that.
We'll get those two. Lines.
So there is no action to be taken today. It's just
Right.
providing us with the information and,
And that's for you, those requests in that package. Just get there and we'll get some firm numbers in the budget defender's office as well.
so when will they come and do their normal presentation to us during the budget time?
If they're not asking for any more money, we're not going to ask them to come.
Okay,
The public defenders,
Don't get them to come, they might change their
okay.
Mr. Bill, if you would, Madam Chair, when you look in our portfolio here, there's two letters, both dated May the 30th. One is for $25,000, one is for $20,000.
at first, they were asking for the level that they had the previous year.
And then they came back and you just left it in here.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what.
Okay, well, that makes sense.
Is there any more discussion on these items?
I don't have
All right, thank you. All right, moving on to the next item. Participant agreement with Pine Mountain Regional Library System.
Chairman, Commissioners, this is something that actually came in earlier, and I just had to get around to get back to you guys, and I apologize. But this is just a agreement with the Pine Mountain Library System, and this will involve all of the participants, every county and city, and they're just asking that we execute this, agreeing that we'll, continue to be part of the system. And we have budgeted in excess of what they're saying here. They say, well, we want to be able to maintain no less than $95,000 annually. Bill checked on that for us the other day, and we're actually doing more than that now. And this can be actually, if there's any issues or concerns with 6 months notice, either party could end the agreement. It's pretty straightforward, and we would recommend approval.
All right. Can I get a motion that we go into agreement with the Pine Mountain Regional Library System?
So moved.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, there's been a motion and a second. Any discussion? If not, I'd like to ask for a vote. All those in favor? Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Thank you so much. The next item is the intergovernmental agreement with the city of Woodbury to conduct their November election. Ms. Patty has already gone over this with us, so at this time, I'd like to get a motion.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, there's been a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion? If not, I'd like to call for a vote. All those in favor? Anyone opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. The next item is a report from our finance department.
Madam Chair, you've got the report of our bank balances in front of you. Our general fund remains strong. I look back last year at this time, end of May, it was within $40,000 or $50,000, the same as it was last year. So that bodes well for us. We got $100,000 in the EMS, which will be transferred in the next couple of days. We still got the $300 down in the 911 account to be coming out of the general fund as well. So we're still in really good shape. Don't have any questions, that's all I have.
I do have a question for you, Bill. Under the splosh, it's the splosh fund. Is there any way it could be presented to us, say splosh 20, I don't know, was it 2000 and, I can't remember now.
14.
Yeah, and is it broken down per year? Because we got 3 splosh right now, right? I mean, you've got it in one collective fund,
We've got the,
but we've got 3 different splosh.
really only have one.
We only have one, so the money,
2014.
so that's 2014?
That's the $2 billion one is the amount that's to pay the bonds back, excuse me. And the other one, Mark Construction, is what's left to be used, mainly for road repairs.
Okay.
Going forward. Now, starting in March, or probably March of next year, is when 2020
2020?
we'll start receiving those funds at that time.
And there'll be some overlap at that time on the funds that'll be segregated.
But are they kept in separate accounts, or they're all in one?
That's a good question.
Oh, we can talk later.
We'll talk about that.
All right, thank you. Appreciate that.
We just need to make sure that we've got enough in that SPOS fund on June 1st to pay that last bond payment
And, okay,
before we start converting that money over to the 2020 one.
okay.
And then with the new one coming up, we're not doing the bonds.
That's correct.
Right, so this one will be completely done with.
It will be, that's correct, yes, ma'am.
Right, okay.
The new one will be pay as you go. We'll have the opportunity, or not opportunity, but we'll be able to borrow against the SPOS if we need to do that. If y'all think there's a project we need to go ahead and fund, or a piece of equipment, go ahead and buy it from, we can.
Just
Okay.
without money that we would be doing on the bonds, so.
Versus what was done previously where they had, okay.
You're not going to borrow a lot
I don't
of
think-
money and do a major project up front. It makes no sense to go through
The bonding
the bond
process and pay. I know. Thank you. Okay, a report from our county administrator.
Yes, ma'am. Tell you, it seems like the last couple of weeks or so, working with board, most of my concentration has been on trying to go through all these codes. We're in the process of doing a major recodification for the first time in many had a lot of people helping with that. And we have a proof now. Been reading that proof, all 500 or 600 pages of it. And what we want to do is I've made some recommended changes on that. I'll probably come back with either a work session or maybe just a public hearing if we're ready. And we'll go through those changes, because what will happen is the changes that are made, when you go through the public hearing and you re-adopt this, that will be the new set of codes for Marywood County. And so we have a Muni Code that's working with us on that. They are well respected all across the state. Nathan and I will be looking at some of the items there. There will be 2 or 3 set of ordinances which, due to time constraints and wanting to get this to back to Muni Code, that we'll probably address after the fact. I would love to have got them in front where we could go ahead and put them in, but we'll just have to do a code update, because some of these, like we got to do the sewer ordinance to mimic the new plant over in Hogansville. We need to do our road ordinances, and I think our subdivision zoning needs to be looked at as well. So we'll be looking at those items, and we'll be bringing those back. But in the meantime, we'll be making minimum changes on those portions. And so that'll be coming, and it's not the most interesting thing in the world, but it is some, there's some curious things in there too, that we found. Beverly, for example, was the permitter for parades in the county.
You want a break from sitting? You won't get one.
So we're just making some small tweaks. And of course, the sheriff's office was the permitter if you wanted to do peddling in the county. And I talked to the sheriff, and he said, I'd rather not do that. So I think Kathy's department's going to get all those things.
Sorry.
Wanted to let you guys know that Bill and I've also met with the assessor's office, and we met with the school board, Dr. Griffin, and we've gone over the timetable for our tax digest approval. Everything is on queue right now. Notices have gone out. I think they're due, end day is like maybe July the 20th or something like that. We will be coming back to you guys for the millage rate at the last meeting in August. And we told the school board they're going to have to do theirs prior to that, because you will have to actually sign documentation.
For both of them.
That's right. So, and we've offered to help them in any way that we can. And speaking of the tax office, I recently sent you guys information on the sales ratio study performed by the Department of Audits, and our assessor's office did a phenomenal job on that. It was right on cue, not only with the ratios of the sales being right at 40%, but the reviews of the consistency and the correctness and the fairness of that also, which is through the coefficient of dispersion and the PRD, was very good as well. And that was across the line with residential, agricultural, industrial properties. So they're not here today to thank, but Bill and I did thank you yesterday for the good job they did. So come a long way. So we appreciate it. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, reports from the county commissioner. Commissioner Threadgill,
I don't have anything at this time.
Commissioner Bray.
I just have a question on the Peaches and Pine. I was very disappointed that it got rained out the weekend, and I had packed my little bag and got my little chair and everything, looking forward to it. I plan to go do some soliciting and advertising for the country Christmas. So I just need to know, is it going to be rescheduled?
No.
What?
No, ma'am. We talked to Carolyn last night, and she said that just because of the vendors and commitments to other events, they were just going to wait until next year.
Wow. That was a third disappointment, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was disappointing. Okay, that's all I have.
Wow. Okay. Once again, I'm sorry to hear that. I was hoping they were going to be able to reschedule, but under the circumstances. Just want to thank all those who came out and participated in the ribbon cutting of Luthersville as well as Lono Fire Station. As the chief stated, that was a great milestone for the county and for those communities, and they are very excited to have those facilities in there. I do want to ask either the chief or Darren, I have a question, and maybe y'all can get back with me later. But as we bring these new fire stations on, what department will be over the maintenance of those fire stations? I know we have Public Works does certain ground and certain maintenance, but we're about to bring on 8 new buildings for the county. Is there going to be a designated department that would handle that? Would that be Public Works? And you don't have to answer right now unless you know the answer.
It's probably going to be a kind of a committee. For example, small things, I think the fire department will take care of. You actually guys have a maintenance gentleman. Sandy does maintenance now.
As he does maintenance for the vehicles, I'm talking about the actual building itself.
We do a lot of the smaller things that we can handle. The newer buildings right now are under warranty still, so we don't really do a lot of hands-on, just to make sure we don't have any warranty issues and things like that. We do most of these small little things in-house, and then most everything else, Tyrell and his group does for us.
You're talking about grounds and all that too?
The grounds and all of that.
We're going to do the ground ourselves. We had planned, we've been buying some lawnmowers, push mowers, and other things, depending on the size of the yard. We have the labor force now that we've never had before. And to be honest with you, we just thought that we ought to use that labor force to do that work.
That's good.
That's pretty common.
Okay. Just wanted clarity, because as we go from under the contract and it becomes the county's building, then I just wanted to make sure that we had something in place to address. Whether it's old or new, there's always something that happens in a building that needs to be addressed.
Yes, ma'am. I feel confident we can take care of this. Tyrell's been very responsive to some of our needs. Some of these, a lot of them are just oddball things that, we didn't think about it, but getting ice makers installed and whatnot. But we will have a list of all of the original contractors and subcontractors that we need, say, some help with something. We will have a vast amount of resources to go get that. In addition to what we already have and do with the other buildings, we'll have all that for the new buildings. So.
Okay, thank you. The other thing I want to just bring up, last week, I think it was Tuesday, I had the opportunity to go to the first day of summer camp that the AURS has been hosting here in the county. It's in Greenville. On their very first day, they had over 25 kids. That was just awesome. And people were still coming in getting applications, especially grandparents. So once again, we want to just thank the hard work that they're doing, and she does need volunteers. So anyone who would like to kind of, donate some of their time to go by and help, they will appreciate it. They are there Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. If I'm not mistaken, is it from 8 to 2? 8 to 2. From 8 to 2. So once again, we appreciate the hard work that she's doing, and also the board and all of those, and especially the sheriff department that has been very helpful in just funding them. And I think they were having a Teen Maze thing. Is that one day for the teenagers to talk about drug prevention. So once again, these things make such a difference and impact in our community. So I want to applaud her and everyone who's had anything to do with that. That's it for me, Commissioner Hadley.
I have several, and a couple of them are just announcements. The Fish Hatchery's annual kids fishing rodeo that was scheduled for last week, it was canceled too because of the weather, but it will take place this Saturday, the 15th. So they're doing things a little different. It's going to be first come, first served, and I think they have 3 waves of times that you can fish, but you're guaranteed to catch a string of fish. So you'll take your children to that. The 3rd annual Warm Springs Freedom Celebration will be Saturday, June the 29th. It will begin at 10 a.m. with a parade. It's more or less like an old-fashioned parade. We want children to come dress up in the red, white, and blue, and there's also a pet costume participation in the parade and contest afterwards. And I believe our animal shelter and one out of Manchester Rescue that will have pets participating and also available for adoption when it's over. And there will be children's water activities in the park, free watermelon and all following the parade. the sports camp that has taken place for many years in Manchester, and it's now held at the rec department. It began on Monday. They pre-registered 135 children, and Monday they had 113 children there. And they work in conjunction with the school system, with the feeding program, so the kids eat breakfast and lunch there. They have, of course, they do sports activities for those 2 weeks, and that is really a joint effort with a large number of volunteers that bring that together also. And then the Pine Mountain Regional Library has got all kinds of activities going on in Greenville and in Manchester, and I know some of their other locations, but they're on Mondays and Wednesdays, I think, maybe some Thursdays, but look at their schedule. They have some really neat things going on. And the other thing I just want to mention, and I had mentioned this a couple of months ago, I really want a work session at some point in time before we get to the point of approving a budget where the public can come in and we have copies of our budget where they can ask questions about line items or whatever. And I want this before we got to approve these things from the state, I know, ahead of time. But where there's an opportunity for change, if there's some suggestions or whatever, so.
There and I have already talked about that.
Okay.
Just inviting the public to come to when we sit down with the department heads.
Okay. Well, and that's fine. Whatever we want to do, I want us to advertise it for us on social media, our website, whatever we can do that's open to the public. Now, I don't know what time we meet with the department heads. It's probably going to be during the day, but we're going to need something in the evening because everybody cannot come during the day, and this is something I really want to happen for the public to come in and where they can sit down with a copy of it and they can read and ask questions about what a line item means or where the money comes from or whatever, just in an effort to people have a better understanding of how the budget works.
Do that.
Okay, thank you.
We can do the public department head meetings and then culminate that with a workshop.
Okay.
The whole thing.
That's fine. Sounds good. Commissioner.
Exciting.
Yeah, really?
You're going to make finance exciting.
About as exciting as those ordinances.
Commissioner McCoy?
I will just go back and revisit Peaches in the Pines because that's a big issue, and I'd just like to thank everybody that had a hand in the prep that goes in. The Public Works folks have been great to help with this. Everybody, the volunteers, and it's all volunteers, have been great. The logistics are just amazing when you try to pull off something like Peaches in the Pines. Scheduling becomes almost a nightmare. By 9 o'clock Saturday, I think we were down to one food vendor. So it was pretty obvious we weren't going to be able to go forward with what we were trying to do. And when you begin all the scheduling and trying to coordinate the effort, and you have to curtail activity there at the lake. People normally come out there, they expect to be able to do things. We have to push them off to the side. So it's very, very hard to schedule this event and carry it out successfully. So that's the reason we're not attempting to reschedule. We will be rescheduling again for next summer, next June. As far as I know, I think we've seen enough there to let us know that it's viable, we can continue. And we'll just have to just play it by ear and go from there. That's all I had, Madam Chair.
I do want to go back and make a comment. I see the Executive Director from Three Rivers here. Thank you. On this coming Thursday, if I'm not mistaken, there's going to be a workshop around the census. And this is a very important endeavor for everybody. And I do believe we will have people from our staff at this workshop, if not correct, how important it is for the census as it comes up and how it affects your county, your cities, making sure everyone is counted, and how this affects your funding on the state and federal levels. So once we attend this workshop, I definitely want us to bring the information back to your staff as well. But I think, once again, we need to make sure that our citizens are very informed of how important it is to participate in the upcoming census. So I just wanted to bring that up. At this time, a report from our county attorney.
Madam Chair, I have nothing to report other than I think you all aware that the time for the quarry case to be appealed has passed. So that is officially over then.
Okay. All right, and will there be a need for an executive session?
Yes, ma'am, for personnel and potential personnel.
So there will be a need for an executive session for personnel and litigation? Okay, all right, thank you. At this time, our next item is public comment. Those in the audience can come up and make their comments. I do believe you have 3 minutes. When you come up, please sign your name so that that can be submitted in the records. And when you come up and make your comments, we ask that you address the board.
And Madam Chairman, if they will, not only give you guys a name, but also give their street address.
Okay. Okay. So we need your name, street address, so when you come up, sign that. That will then be submitted into the county minutes. So if there's anyone at this time would like to address the board and public comments, you're welcome to do so. And you have 3 minutes to do that. Mr. Bill will be our timekeeper. You will hear this unique sound. And that just means you really need to close it up, bring it to a close. I would not like to use the gavel to stop you from speaking, but we do have a certain amount of protocol that we need to maintain. So at this time, does anyone like to make any comments? You're more than welcome to come up and address the board.
My name is Brenda Evans, and I'm at 221 James Edmond Road. I also own 35 acres on Woodbury Highway. I'd like to remind the Board of Commissioners that you signed, you have a county ordinance 20012-03. It's the noise ordinance. So keep in mind about that in regards to a lot of issues that you have voted on today. Also, you have a Meriwether County Joint Comprehensive Plan for 2018 through 2038, and that you want to preserve the small town and rural quality of life in Meriwether County and preserve the community's natural character. You also state in that under the rural development section that the preservation of the scenic and rural landscape is a priority in this area. Excuse me. So I just want to make sure that you understand that what your decisions impact the community. Also, I would encourage the board to adopt zoning laws that protect the citizens of this county and the taxpayers of this county. And the decisions that you make have a huge, huge impact on the taxpayers, the value of their property, and their lives, and their health, and their safety, and their welfare. So as a Board of Commissioners, you are responsible for the welfare and the well-being, the safety, and the health of all the citizens of Meriwether County. And please take that into consideration when you make your decisions.
Thank you so much. Is there anyone else?
It's kind of hard to come behind this, Charlene Glover. And I may not need to make my comments at this time. I may just need to call Mr. Gay or call one of you. But I need a little information because I'm getting asked, when will the parking lot be done? When will the streetscape be done? The SPLOST, will the new census have any impact on the old census as far as SPLOST is concerned? Whether we go up or down? Okay.
The SPLOST will be in effect. Your census number probably won't be here until 2022.
Okay.
It will be 2 years into the SPLOST at that time. Now, it could, on any subsequent SPLOST, it could, but that goes both ways. If the county grows a lot more, even if a city grows, you can lose percentage. So that census thing is can be tricky.
I thought that's what I had heard before, but I wanted to make sure I was going to explain it right.
And as far as those other 2 projects, I've got a draft of them. I've got a couple deadlines I'm trying to finish the codes, and then I've got to do the T-SPLOST referendums and all of the resolutions for the Board of Elections. And then my next 2 projects after that is going to be those 2 contracts.
Well, I just told them the roads had taken priority over everything, but I wanted to make sure I was something right.
We've had it, it needs to be done. It's just one of those things we just just have to prioritize and reprioritize depending on what comes up. So,
Okay.
but it's pretty close.
And I want to apologize for not attending the river cutting at either site, because I was a carrier to pick up food for the seniors that day, so I couldn't make it to either river cutting. I just was coming for the refreshment and nothing else.
We're gonna have.
Well, you have the opportunity on yesterday.
It should. If I
Bring
don't
your
have to pick
senior
up
center.
food, I'll be there. And speaking of senior centers, when you all start looking at your budget for October, see if you all can give us a small increase for the senior center too. So we are 10, 50, whatever. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Going up.
Concur.
I'm Kirk Fellstool, 120 North Hill Street in Griffin is where our office is, the Executive Director of the Three Rivers Regional Commission. And a 3-minute limit is awesome, because I can tell you one of the central questions that we get asked at Three Rivers is what it is we actually do. And I think everybody experiences us in a way. But I remember the first effort at this was sitting with Mr. McCoy and giving him the 30-minute version, and now we're trying to get down to the 2 or 3-minute version of it. And so what we're doing, and the reason that I want to start introducing this, is that we've developed a set of fact sheets. Because as you know, we are we primarily serve the local governments. You all sit on our council and you help fund us to the tune of $1 per person in your county. So I think it's important that you understand what service it is that we provide. We really provide it in 2 ways, one of which is not encapsulated here, and that is really to convene regional issues. The other is to provide services. And so there are basically 4 areas that we're providing services, and so we felt like if we could come up with a kind of a by the numbers fact sheet for each of the counties, this would be kind of a quick on it. And so, for example, I'm not going to go through them all, but if you look at aging services, for example, you can see that we provided over 16,000 meals in Meriwether County in fiscal year 18. If you look at transit, there were over 9,000 trips. And that sort of gives you the idea. If you look at planning, that's really not numbers driven, but we did the joint comprehensive plan for all of the local governments in fiscal 18. I think the other thing that's interesting for you, if you look at the dark blue, you can see the impact on the region when you accumulate it to the region. So if you look at that dark blue area, you can see that when we're talking about those in-home meals, it was 280,000 for 10 counties. And over 215,000 rural trips. And so it's pretty, I think, impactful when you look at it at a regional scale. If you flip it over, one of the things that we're trying to work on for our staff is enhancing our data capabilities, because I think that's one of the things that local governments really need. And so this is the beginnings of an effort. We've got access to some software that, and you can just see some stats on Meriwether County. This is really driven by Department of Labor, our census information. So this is just the beginning of kind of an understanding of what we do. The last thing I want to do is introduce my assistant for the day, Grace, who is my youngest daughter. Traveling around with me, but made it.
Yeah. Thank you, Jim. Thank you.
Better than the 30-minute version.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And I understand there is a meeting on the 18th of June for Three Rivers for the elected officials, and this is just to kind of go over this.
Well, so on the 18th, it is related to the workforce board.
Okay, that's
so
the workforce.
It's the chief elected officials kind of electing their new membership. So that's kind of the workforce aspect of it.
Okay.
And our next meeting is the last
26th, 27th.
last Thursday of the month. So,
Thank you. Good information. I think this information would be good for not only us to see, but even for some of our citizens. And we're excited to have our 3rd transit bus back in place too. All right, come back.
Morning, Commissioners. My name is Mark Goss. I'm at 3880 M Lake Road in Woodbury. I've been in the telecommunications industry for about 29 years now, so I'd like to address some of the concerns regarding the distinct conflict that I've found, in my opinion, to the Meriwether County Joint Comprehensive Plan of 2018 to 2038 regarding the approved special use permit that you guys just approved for the cell phone tower, noting that the first time I actually read the comprehensive plan was when I began investigating moving to Meriwether County. I was really impressed with the plan, how thorough it was, some of the things you guys were, putting in the plan, things, the vision for Meriwether County. So that enhanced me and helped me, decide to move to Meriwether County. And this 3 minutes is going to be hard to do here, but in the plan, under list of community needs and opportunities, we can find the need for promotion of the Meriwether Together vision. The small town and rural quality of life needs to be preserved. The need to preserve prime agricultural land in environmentally sensitive areas, and the Meriwether Pike Scenic Byway and other scenic routes. You guys have said that needs to be protected from visual encroachment. Our Meriwether County vision statement, for the people who haven't heard it in the room, Meriwether County, in partnership and cooperation with its municipalities, will strive to enhance the quality of life of its citizens, preserve community assets, including its rural character, small town sense of place, culture and natural resources, and scenic beauty. Through progressive leadership, we will foster economic prosperity, expand recreation, promote tourism, maintain and improve transportation infrastructure, and promote quality attainable housing. One of the community goals and policies from the comprehensive plan states that we will promote the Meriwether Pike Scenic Byway and other scenic routes and protect them from visual encroachment. This cell phone tower that you guys just approved the special use permit for will be constructed in view of the scenic byway near Red Oak Covered Bridge. Under designated character areas, the geographic vision for Meriwether County and its cities is accomplished with designated character areas. Character areas are defined as areas which have distinct development patterns, function, and land uses. Each area is used for the promotion of locally desired types of growth, development, and methods of preserving the community's uniqueness of place. The area of the proposed or the approved special use permit for the tower is, according to the map in the comprehensive plan, rural development. Rural development, as defined by the comprehensive plan, is an area that is characterized by agriculture, forestry, estate residential, and single-family on large acre lots. Low-density development and conservation subdivisions are encouraged to preserve the rural character of the landscape. The preservation of the scenic and rural landscape is a priority in this area. I read the comprehensive plan from page 1 through page 79, including the appendix. I did not find the word cell, the word phone, or the word tower in the documents, nor have I been able to find any reference to a cell phone tower that would lead me to believe that it visually preserves the rural character of the landscape. The HUD HOC reference guide actually characterizes a cell phone tower as a hazard and a nuisance. While the FCC states that you cannot deny the application, may I have one more minute, please?
Unfortunately, I can't.
Okay. Well, I'll prepare this and I'll send it to you guys and you can read it at your leisure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sure, no problem.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Mr. Dunaway? Was that it?
Yes.
All right, Mr. Dunaway. Is there anyone else that'd like to make comments during the public comments? Okay. Yep. Thank you once again.
My name's Catherine Jenkins, and I'm from 833 John Tremble Road up near Lucasville. And first off, I want to say good morning, Commissioners, and I want to thank you for voting yes on the towers, because for me, this is an important issue. I can't get internet at my house. I guess I can get HughesNet, but I am not going to do that. I've heard enough about how bad that is. But what I end up doing is I have to use cell phone data, and I need to be able to get a signal to do that. So for me, this was an important issue, and I think this was an important issue for a lot of people in this community. And although it's not something I would love to see, cell phone towers are not considered a beauty aspect in any way. But I think they're just completely necessary for what we are, for who we are. This is a rural community, but the people that live here need to be able to be connected. I've got to be able to be connected for my job. When my husband's working on the farm, sometimes he's in areas of the farm that we can't get cell phone coverage very well. But he's doing something dangerous that sometimes he needs to be able to call me. I mean, we see this in emergency situations throughout the county. If you can't get on your cell phone and you are 30 minutes away from a hospital, you know, that time can be critical. So being able to get on the cell phone in this area, I think is just so important. So I just wanted to thank you.
Mark, don't you have family members who are involved in aviation as well?
I do, and I'll speak on that too. My husband's, he's a pilot. He's a professional pilot. He flies for Air Methods out of Newman, and he does fly into this community. And he's told me that they've had people that have sat on the road because they couldn't get a cell phone signal. And I also have a lot of friends in the flying-in community, and many of them want the cell phone towers because it does not impede air traffic going in and out of the private airstrip. So it doesn't impede them in approach, or I'm not a pilot, I don't know a lot of the technical words, but from what I've heard from people that do, it's not a problem at all for them.
Thank you for your comments. If there's no one else at this time, we will close out our public comment.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a comment as I listened to some of the comments that we just heard. And, you know, when we make a decision up here, it may not always be a 100% decision. We have to weigh that. It may be an 80 or a 90. We have to look at health issues. We look at other things we're restricted from looking to. I think the answer to a lot of this, brother, is simply the fact, where does time stop? I've often looked at the Amish people. 1842 seemed to be their time. They didn't want anything to go forward after that. Well, if you look at the infrastructure around here, we have paved roads. We like paved roads. They may not be conducive to the health of everybody. We have electric grids out there. I work for an electric company. That's a good seller. Everybody likes the electricity. We're allowed to have lighting. We're allowed to have air conditioning on a day like today. So at what point does it stop? That's my thing. We have to provide some kind of infrastructure for the folks out here. And I think you see the point I'm making. It's either that or we go back to the Stone Age. Well, you can shake your head. That's fine too. I don't mind.
I'm not allowed to speak, so
Well, I understand. But that was just my comment. Somewhere around here, there has to be some common sense applied to the equation. That's my comment.
Thank you. I just want to comment in the sense that everyone has opinions, and we are open to hear everyone's opinion. And at the end of the day, the county has to make decisions that will have the best effect on the entire county. And as Commissioner McCoy stated earlier, it's not always that easy. We have to look at everything, but once we make our decision, we just have to move forward. But I always feel it's important that our citizens have the opportunity to come to this board and share their opinions and their viewpoint as well. So we're always going to have that available to all the citizens. The only thing I ask is that we all be open and respectful of everyone's opinion, because it will vary and it will be different. So once again, thanks for all the comments that were shared. Moving on, though there is a need for an executive session, but before we go into that, our future meetings, our next meeting will be June the 25th, and that will be our evening meeting at 6 p.m. And on July the 4th, we will be closed for the recognition of Independence Day. At this time, can we get a motion that we go into executive session?
Second.
There's been a motion. I'm sorry.
You gotta say it.
Okay.
I know you've already said it, but it hasn't been.
Thank you. Can I get a motion that we go in executive session for litigation and personnel? Is there a second? Okay, so there's been a motion and a second. Any discussion? If not, I'd like to ask for a vote. All those in favor? Motion carries.